We are here in the Bahamas.
We are going to make it right.
If you became a millionaire, would you keep working? You know?
Great job, brother. Just fun to meet you. I'll be around.
What's going on right now is California's trying to figure out.
Oh, I can.
Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad. It's going to be a great show. We're talking Bitcoin. We got some insiders telling all. We got some based AI. We're talking Cardano. We're talking XRP. And we got the TZ, the TGZ. What do we call ourselves, TJ?
I think just TJ's fine.
I want to get like a Benifer type thing going on because we got Dreezy, you know, Drew and DZ. So what's
DJ?
DJ? All right. Some say it stands for dumb jerks. You know, I would agree with that. You know, given where we are in the market right now, hey, it's a little down. So I'll take it. I'll take the lumps on the chin. Make sure you hit that like button, everybody.
No, I was going to say, it's TZ.
TZ.
Yeah.
TZ. All right, TZ. But don't tease me by not hitting that like button. Make sure you smash that like button. Let's go ahead and freak out the YouTube algorithm. I want those Google engineers to fall out of their chair and say, what is happening? We must share this video to everybody. And 1 like equals Bitcoin going up 1 penny. Don't you forget that. It's going to be a great episode. Let's get right into it. Make sure you follow all of our awesome channels. We got Frankie Candles. We got BitLab. We got Around the Blockchain. We got Hit Network. We got Madden, all Madden Sports. And Taco is Resurrected NFT Alpha. He's doing it every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I saw him recording it today. So a lot of good stuff. TZ for the win. You know, if you got any suggestions, let us know. T&D, DJ, okay. JD, you know, I don't know. That one doesn't really make sense. All right, hey, if you're following me on Instagram, make sure it's the correct one, DZ_BTC. 5,071 follows there. My Twitter still getting bigger and bigger. We just passed 40,100. And I have, you know, we just did a good Vumio. I have some alpha for you guys. I'm digging around trying to find some free money. Do you like free money, TJ?
Who doesn't like free money?
Everybody likes free money. And so I was interacting with the Arbitrum network today. I bridged 0.001 to 3 different wallets. I then took those 3 wallets. I went to OpenSea, and then I bought 3 different NFTs for $1.50 a piece. Will it turn into something? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. All I know is this very small amount of funds could equal hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So if you go to my Twitter and you click likes, you're going to see just the most recent 2. Here's a step-by-step guide on how to get qualified for Arbitrum airdrop. It is an older tweet, so, you know, just bear in mind, you might get some old info there. And then here's another one a little bit fresher from February 10th. Might see new requirements for Arbitrum. And this is just purely speculative. None of this might be correct, but hey, I like free money. I think you like free money. Hit that like button if you like free money. I'm just trying to help everybody out. And I'm actually hurting myself. I'm diluting my Arbitrum airdrop. But this is the BitSquad, and we're all in it together. What do you say?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I think it's getting it. We talk about this a lot on Blockchain Basement, the different ways to interact with different, especially new test networks right now. There's not necessarily a ton of things going on compared to all the hype that's going to be in the bull market. So now's the time to get out and test new things. A lot of times, if you trade or if you're used to using decentralized exchanges, a lot of times you can just go find a new exchange and then just trade stables between USDT and USDC. Same thing, very low cost to you, but it's great education and it's great opportunity to maybe get an airdrop.
Yeah, so. I switched to USDC this morning, 0.001. It was $1.6 USDC, and then I deposited in some DeFi yield. Hey, maybe I'll get a penny, but I'm not worried about trying to get a nickel of USDC on Arbitrum network. Really what I'm trying to do is, you know, just qualify myself for some of these DeFi protocol airdrops, or maybe even some NFT projects might have airdrops. I bought different NFTs, just buying the cheap things off the floor. All right, the book tour is still going strong. Ben is out there right now. He has paper cuts all over his thumb, so make sure you go support him and show up to the big meetup we got going on the 8th. Are you excited about this?
Yeah, it's the meetup here in the building, March 8th, right here at our offices. So yeah,
come by. You get to see you get to see how the sausage is made. That is a metaphor. Don't take that literally. Go to Hit merch if you want to get some cool merch. We sold out of the Hit or was it? I was going to say the Hit Network, but no, the JPEG Junkie one sold out. Love to see that. And hey, there's still some other stuff. And the Candle Mafia, they're hard at work. They got some really cool stuff. You want to check out that. Are you ready to talk about some crypto?
Let's do it.
I'm ready to talk about some crypto. I want free cheese. We all want free cheese. Let me know in the comment section, What's your favorite cheese? I like a good Parmesan or Parmesan, depending what timeline you're in. What's your favorite cheese?
Golly, that's a tough one. I mean, like if you're talking really good Parmesan, like, you know, that is hard to top. I mean, if you're talking like, it depends. If you're talking sandwiches, pepper jack, I'm a big pepper jack
is
guy.
good.
But if you're talking like a meat and cheese board, yeah, a well-aged Parmesan. When I went to Italy, they were serving like 30-year aged Parmesan. And it was just like, it blew my mind. So, yeah.
Oh my God, I can only imagine. I like a very shiny American cheese. That's my favorite. Like the shinier, the better. I want it to look like the top of my head, just glistening in the sunlight. I want to see my reflection on my sandwich when I open it up. Yeah, plastic. In fact, I leave the plastic on it. You can't even tell. All right, let's talk about how many cryptos do we got? 22,717. The market cap is, up slightly yesterday, 1.07. Today, 1.08. 24-hour volume moving up. Yesterday it was in the 30s. Now we're at 49 billion, 49.420. Almost 69. Oh, that was so close to a 420.69 there. Come on, get that volume up. Then we have the Bitcoin dominance coming in at 42.4. ETH dominance 18.7, roughly where we were at yesterday. And the gas is way up right now, coming in at 77 Gwei. I almost want to just refresh that. Yeah, okay, down a little bit, now down to 61. If we look at the price charts here, you see Bitcoin up slightly, Ethereum up slightly, actually almost identical, marks right here. Ethereum slightly up on the week, however, up 2.5%. Bitcoin largely just flat. We are now trading within a range, and we're going to be talking to Frankie in a little bit. He's going to be calling in. So if you want to know what trades to be looking in, make sure you're sticking around. You're not going to want to move, and you're definitely going to want to stick around to see about this insider telling all and this MetaMask thing going on. But back to the charts here, we got BNB still floating around $300. We have XRP up 0.5%. Cardano down about 0.5%. Hate seeing that. We are down 5% on the week now. Polygon down almost 9%, almost 10% on the week. If you're looking to scoop some Polygon, hey, maybe it's going to go cheaper, but, I like to buy things in the red, not buy things in the green. We have Solana down 4.5% for the week, down just, basically flat at the moment. Polkadot mostly flat. Litecoin, Tom Crown currently doing cartwheels. If you don't know, he is Mr. Litecoin. And if we go to the top gainers, though, what is this? Early 21, late 2020. We have Maker jumping up right now, up 17%. Any thoughts on Maker DAO moving up?
I don't know necessarily why it would be moving right this minute. I did see, I'm trying to remember, I saw something about it. I do know I like Maker as a DAO in general, one of the main ones that I feel like sets the standard for good DAO operations. They've been doing it for a long time. So do you and TJ, $22 super chat or 22 pound blue chip stock investments are only crypto? I have been scaling into the stock market. If you go to JPEG Junkies, I have a Discord channel in there, DZ Trades, where I share everything. Literally 100% is in that Junkies Discord. So go there. I have a little Google, little Tesla. What have I bought recently? I bought some coin, which is Coinbase. Do you have any stocks? No, I don't have any stocks. I used to. I did stocks when I was younger, and that was before I found crypto. It wasn't moving enough for me. It's something I maybe could consider at some point. But yeah, I had some mutual funds and stuff. I liquidated them all for crypto back in 2017-ish, and just been riding with crypto ever since. So.
Yeah, I've been looking at, I kind of want to get it back into REITs, which is Real Estate Investment Trust, where they have to pay, I believe, a minimum of 90% of their profits directly to the shareholders via their dividend yield. And so I might be looking at that just for safer plays. DZ, can you please freestyle like Wheezy about being sleazy, but not breezy like you cut the cheesy? Thanks, you old geezy. I'm not old geezer, but my first tape I ever bought was Weezer.
Hey, wow.
And zoom in. I think I see a hair. I might need a tweezer. All right, that's all I got. All right, back to the charts here, though. We have Conflux also up in the double digits, up 11% right now. Stacks, if you stack some stacks, you're looking good. You're up 30% on the week. Aptos up 6.5%. We have Convex up about 5%. Singularity still making moves, up 40% on the week. This thing just doesn't seem like it wants to cool down anytime soon. Filecoin, I am in a little Filecoin, so I like seeing that up on the day, but still down on the week considerably. DYDX, Aave, Chili's, Fractures, Uniswap. Oh, Uni going to come back this summer? Who knows? If we look at the top losers now, again, you don't want your coin to be in the top losers. I've devised a foolproof method to make that happen. It's called hitting the like button every time you hit that like button, as long as it's an odd number, it increases the likelihood your coins aren't on there, but don't hit it an even amount of times. We are down 5% on, have not ever seen this one before, SSV.network coming in at 97, so just now squeaking into the top 100. Clayton down, ZEM, eGold, aka Multiverse, it is down as well. Are you still bullish on Multiverse?
It's a tough one. We used to like Elrond eGold a decent amount. They do have some solid tech. I am a little weary. They've rebranded, I think, 2 or 3 times now. Yeah. I do know. I want to say they had a partnership with Tencent recently announced. I think that was them. So obviously that's nothing to sneeze at. Tencent, one of the biggest gaming companies in the world. They are positioning themselves to be a metaverse type chain. But I'd be watching and waiting right now. I don't hold any of it currently.
If you partner up with 50 Cent, does that 5x your opportunity there of success, or your odds of success there?
I don't know.
Maybe it actually diminishes it.
I was gonna say, I don't know.
It probably takes it to the other way.
Maybe in 2005.
Yeah, and I don't know, the show Power. Let me just say, the show Power sucks. I don't know why people think that show's good. It's a watered down, weak wire.
Yeah.
Okay, it's pretty bad. The first episode lost me. They're like murking people in the basement of a very trendy nightclub on Friday night at midnight. You're like, okay, come on, this is a little ridiculous. All right, but Tony D, happy Wednesday. Hey, Tony is in the chat. We were chatting earlier. If you ever watch Suits, he reminds me of Louis Litt. Don't tell him I said that.
Oh,
do we have Frank?
We do.
Yeah, you see it?
I see it. I see it. I loved Suits.
Suits. I'm like season 4 now, just getting into season 4, maybe just getting into season 3. So it's like a formulaic.
Yeah, I never finished it. I watched the first season, or I think I watched the first 2 seasons, and then this was back before I was, everything was streamed, so you had to actually keep up with it. And then I missed it. Season 2 ended, season 3 started, and I was like, oh, I got to go back and catch up, and I never did. But solid show.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a guy with a photographic memory, hustles his way into a very prestigious law firm, and it's kind of okay-ish.
Yeah. All right, you got your earpiece?
Tony's like, I gotta see now. You don't look like him, you act like him. You got the abrasive but friendly, you love them, type of vibe going on. I wouldn't say you look like them, but all right. What do we have for Frank? Do we have Frank? I need to get my ears in here.
Get your ears in there. And Frank is waiting in the wings. He's ready to bring us that sauce. Frank, what you got?
Take my broken wing.
What's going on, guys? We got a lot of good stuff to look at. By the way, shout out to DZ. That was a pretty dope freestyle. But yeah, we got a lot of good stuff to look at. Although Bitcoin really hasn't been making much of a move. We're kind of just, DZ said it earlier, we're kind of just ranging around here. And on my live stream last night,
people getting lit up about that comment. It's inside check.
But yeah, we're kind of just ranging around. And I was talking about on my live stream yesterday that, a lot of the indicators are giving some pretty mixed signals as of right now. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to kind of look at some key levels to kind of give you guys an insight into where price might actually go, because the indicators are kind of not really helping us out right now. Just tons of, up and down, and it's across multiple indicators. So I'm going to show you those key levels because, there are certain levels that if we break below them or above them, I'm not expecting a move up until we break above certain resistance, and I'm not really expecting a big move down until we break below certain support. So with the confusing indicators, with the indicators looking confusing, I'm going to try to use these key levels to kind of clear out that murky water. So pulling up the Bitcoin chart right here, let me go ahead and share my screen. So here we are. Right. And just to kind of give you guys an idea of those mixed signals that we're seeing coming up to the higher time frames, the weekly is looking like it wants to cool off here. You do have your VWAP coming, pretty close to that 0 line, looking for a red dot here pretty soon, which would indicate a, somewhat of a pullback, right? 6-day telling us something very, very similar. And then we have these bearish divergences that are confirmed on these higher daily time frames. But money flow is pointing in the opposite direction, right? We have a red dot on the 5-day, but money flow is kind of coming up here. On top of that, just to kind of give you guys an idea of the confusion here, 2-hour money flow is crossing over into the green, which would somewhat be a somewhat of a bullish sign. But you have a red dot there, and then you look at the 4-hour, and your money flow is kind of coming out here, right? So you know, I don't like taking trades unless it is a high probability trade or if I feel that I'm very, very confident that the trade will win. And with these mixed signals, it's just not enough for me to, you know, get a clear enough answer to feel confident strongly in one direction or the other. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to pull up some of these levels. Now, there we go, right? So some of these main levels that I am looking at, obviously, we did come down to our key level at about $23,000 where we started to get this bounce. This was a big level we were watching. And, you know, just zooming out to more of a macro outlook here. I wouldn't say macro, but this is all the way back. You know, this range here is all the way back from Friday the 13th, all the way to our current price action, right? So basically how I'm looking at this is just as a big value area, right? This big range with your value area high up here and your value area low down here.
I have boomerized. What are those price areas? You said up here and down here. What are those two numbers?
So the value area high, which I would consider the most important level of resistance, if we could get above here, that is what could potentially, if we can crack this level, that's what could potentially open up that big move to the upside to about 28 to 30K that a lot of people are talking about. And these levels are coming in at almost exactly 25K. So just basically these highs that we made up here. And you do, not only do you have a macro value area high there, you also do have this more local value area high right here, from this more local range that we have, you know, we've actually broken down out of. So up here, very, very key resistance. If we could get back up here, flip this to support, that's where I would expect that much, much bigger move up to that 30K level. And I will just go ahead and pull up the volume real quick. We show this all the time, so I'm just going to show it very quickly. You can see, you know, even right here, this high volume node at about 30K. Resistance will likely start at around 28K. But again, once you break that value area high, you have that big volume gap up to that next price target at about 28 to 30K. But in the short term here, guys, just kind of looking at our range here, I am not expecting a big move down or, you know, a decent move down until we break this point of control coming in at $23,000. This is your key level of resistance right now. $23,000, just about dead even. If we break below this $23,000 level, say we get a move down, right? That 2 hour has a red dot. You know, it could easily bring us back down to the 23K level. If we break below this and cannot get back above this POC, that is where we could potentially see a quick move down to about 21,900. And the reason we're expecting that to be the level we hit is because it is the value area low of the range. And more often than not, when you lose that POC, you will see that value area low. Now, that is your key level to the downside. 23K, if you break it decisively, likely going to be some more downside. However, to the upside, I did talk about that 25K level opening the door to, you know, potentially get us up to 28 to 30K. However, we do have very important resistance before we could even think about getting up to these levels, and that is going to be the previous value area low of this local range that we were trading in recently, right? I'll go ahead and highlight that with a box. Your value area high is at the top of the purple box, value area low at the bottom of the purple box. So this previous value area low is going to be absolutely key that we break above this level, because once you, you know, similar to the point of control, if we break below that, you're expecting the value area low. If we crack above this value area low here, this previous value area low, and can hold support on this level, that is where we could expect that move back up to that 25K level, because again, we're just looking at the markets in terms of ranges. And once you hold support at the range low, you could expect to move up to your value area high. And that is where you can, you know, start to look at the possibility of breaking out. Now, with the weekly red dot, I don't know if it's likely to get that move up to 28 to 30K before that weekly red dot prints. So that is something I'm watching. If we can get that red dot over the weekend and we don't get that breakout, I think we could cool off a little bit more from the way that weekly looks. And then eventually we will make it back up to that 25K level and break up to that 28 to 30K price target that I know everybody is dying to see. So I know that's, you know, we're going up or down. But again, you know, if the indicators are not giving me clear indications of which way price is going to go, you have to look at both options. But now you guys have those key levels. So 23K, key support, 24,000 and $22 is your key resistance. So those are the two major levels that, if flipped, either resistance to support or support to resistance, that is kind of the two major levels that I am looking at to try to predict if we're going to get a move up or a move down.
All right, well, hopefully we get out of this range. You know, you said Friday the 13th. I think it was Autopilot mentioned Friday the 13th. Today's the 1st. It's March at this point. Bitcoin moving slower than Michael Myers walking while in Friday the 13th. And so I thought that was a pretty good thing. And then someone said DZ calves or easy calves. I don't know, greasy. I don't know. We need to think of some sort of easy candles. I don't know. There's something there that we can maybe get. But Frank, great information as always. Where can we find your stuff at?
Yeah, I will be going live tonight, as I do every single weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you guys are interested in more of what I was just talking about, I am going to be dropping a market update video on my channel in the next hour or so. So definitely, if you're looking at, want to learn more about the trade levels that we're looking at and kind of more in detail TA on the current situation of Bitcoin, definitely check that out coming up in about an hour on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel.
Hey, Frankie, you still getting the walks in after the stream?
You know what? It's actually funny you say that, DZ, because it was getting kind of cold, right? I'm not a big cold guy. I'm from New York. I'm sick of the cold. But now it's warm enough. I actually did start back up. So I was about to say, man, we got spring forward coming up this month. You know, it's getting dark at 6:30. Now it's about to be 7:30. Now you don't have to worry about your calves being your only protection from a car hitting you at night. So I think you're going to be safe. We're really looking forward to it. Throw the candles up in the chat. We love having Frank on. Frank, it's always a pleasure. Absolutely. Hasta pasta, DZ.
Pasta. All right. Great guy. We love Frank around here. Voted employee of the year like every year, right?
So good so far.
Yeah. He's in the lead. He narrowly stole it from Spiderwolf back in 21 and handily took it last year. All right, SEC. Wait, but get this thing out of my ear. I kept trying to hit points for him too. Oh, is it time for a little buzz? A little Twitter buzz? It's Elon time. UberFact said caffeine is the most consumed psychoactive drug in the world. It's the world's most popular drug. It's my favorite drug.
Mm-hmm.
You still on caffeine, right?
Unfortunately, I got a bang right here. I'm trying to get off of it, but yeah, it's very addictive.
Let us know in the chat. What's your consumption? Is it 5 hour? Is it yellow jackets? Is it coffee? Are you popping the pills? Let us know. What's your caffeine consumption method? Please don't tell me you're doing enemas. All right, Watch Guru just in. Biden says his upcoming budget proposal will include higher taxes. They always say, hey, there's two ways to pay for something. You raise taxes or you print money. Are they actually going to raise taxes, TJ?
Yeah, probably. I'm not really shocked. Do they ever not raise taxes? Eventually everything gets bigger budgets, more taxes. Print more money, makes buying power go down. You have to raise taxes. Government gets bigger always, so I'm not really shocked by this.
Yeah. It seems like it's, we're eventually going to say, smart, cooler heads will prevail. Be like, guys, our debt is getting a little crazy. Could we just please get a little bit more income coming in? The corporation that is the U.S. government. Bank of England Deputy General or Governor says central bank issued digital pound could give consumers a safe place to store value. TJ, is it possible to have just keeping your fiat as fiat? Could that be safe under any circumstances?
I read that kind of like a YouTube title with a question mark at the end. Like it could be, maybe. But maybe. Is it going to be? Probably not.
Yeah. You're probably going to lose 8% of your value. Right. That's safe-ish. Bitcoin might have a 40% drawdown year,
right?
But it might also have a 400% pump. So who knows? That's just that's my thesis. I'm staying away because everyone knows inflation is just basically the people with assets taxing those without, and then it's just a wealth transfer at the end of the day. So not a good thing that we like, especially those trying to get out of the rat race, trying to get some equity under their name, trying to build a foundation to maybe have a legacy for their family. As they print and print and print, it's just they're increasing the speed. They're increasing the speed of that freaking treadmill, and it's just you're fighting, and if you get past a certain point, you'll hit that cool down mode. But not many people can get to the cool down mode, so we're trying to get you to the cool down mode. All right, SEC caught another FTX big fish. Will work in case against SBF. Ooh, is that Sam Bankman's hand? Remember that little meme where it has the sea urchin and it looks like Sam Bankman in the Bahamas?
Yeah.
That's what I think when I see this picture right there. Is that the same hand? All right, here we have It looks like actually someone pretty high. I mean, this is someone in the C-suite, the CEO, Chief Engineering Officer, and Nishad Singh has pleaded guilty to charges filed against him and is cooperating with the SEC and will work on the case built against SBF. This was reported in December of 22. Two members of the inner circle, Wang and Ellison, pleaded guilty and are working with the authorities. Singh is now the third executive to fold and join the investigation against SBF. Are we really going to have, I mean, I see this, I read this, and I'm starting to feel a little bit better about SBF receiving justice, but it probably is going to mean there's a whole list of bad actors who are going to get away with it. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they've got their sights on the right people. You know, Nishad Singh, the lead engineer, he would have, you know, a lot of people talk about that backdoor that, you know, who knows who really programmed some of that stuff to actually be able to move around that way. Sam kind of acted like, oh, I have no idea if any of that was there. It was Nishad that did it. He kind of threw his buddy under the bus there. Yeah. I think the main guy who hasn't really been cited too much is Dan Friedberg and Sam Trabucco. No charges yet for either one of them. So, which makes you wonder, you know, why and how, and maybe are they the ones working with the law enforcement agencies to bag some of these other people? But yeah, it sounds like Caroline, you know, Nishad, SBF, a lot of these were the key players in what was going on. So I feel like they're on the right track, at least.
Yeah, and I mean, some pretty serious charges here. He pled guilty to a 6-count indictment, included wire fraud, conspiracy to commit securities fraud, campaign finance law violation, and other charges. Speaking of suits, I saw an episode just last night. They said wire fraud carries 20 years. I don't know. It was from a script. Maybe it's true, but if that's true, it's you know, he's looking at serious time right there.
Yeah.
It's the SDNY, which is you know, the very serious Southern District Court of New York, and they released an indictment revealing the scheme to increase his influence in Washington. SBF and others donated to the high-ranking government officials for their own gain, and that is going to be a saga that is going to take years to unravel because of our obfuscation with campaign finance laws and the ability to hide money and how hard it is to track down that money, and just how everybody involved kind of likes that system because it enriches themselves, it enriches their family, it enriches their campaign. It allows them to just raise limitless funds by, you know, overseas government entities, even if they wanted. So no one really has any incentive or motive to stop this system except for the 99.99999% of citizens in the country who hate it. But, you know, that's not going to change the laws or anything. All right, keeping it on FTX, the headquarters growth is in progress. How Nishad Singh wants a honor student, and it's turned to crypto crime. And here's just a little bit more of an article, just, you know, talking about his background. He's 27 years old, director of engineering, pled guilty, of course. He's agreeing to cooperate. And it does mean he could end up testifying. I mean, we're probably going to see that. No, actually, maybe not. Do you think they'll be televised? Are they going to televise this case?
That's a great question. It's pretty intriguing, the things they decide to televise versus not televise. I think this has obviously there's a lot of interest in it, but I think it has a few too many political ties to really be televised. They'd much rather televise the Johnny Depp stuff and things that are just total trash distractions, I feel like.
Well, I mean, when you read that a Hollywood star pooped in another Hollywood star's bed,
yeah.
TJ, I'm clicking that link.
That's why they do it. That's why they do it. And other things that are going on in the meantime just seem to be swept under the radar. There's some stories, big breaking stories that we couldn't cover today, you know, just because it's a little too political, a little too sensitive on the internet, you know, about what was a lot of the stuff that was going on during 2020. You know, now everybody's coming out and kind of saying like, oh yeah, actually you guys were all right. We did suppress everything. And that will all get swept under the radar while they point people's attention in other directions, in my opinion.
Murphy, 100% DZ. Don't worry, if you rewind, you're going to see some great alpha from Frank. So make sure you check that out if you're just now jumping in. And if you are just now jumping in, please hit that like button. Where are we at on the count? Have we passed 1,000 yet?
We're at 737.
Oh,
so
not
terrible,
guys.
not great.
All right, 737 is more than just a plane that disappears over the Indian Ocean. Okay, we need to get that like up. Let's get to 1,000. Too soon? Anyways, a little background on this guy. He did attend the same elite Silicon Valley prep school as Sam Bankman, which is like a very highly highly polished California thing where all the VC people send all their children, along also friends with the younger brother, Gabriel, and like the brothers and several other executives. He was a proponent of effective altruism, a movement that urges adherents to make big bucks so they can give their fortune to charity. I don't know if you saw the thing where, I don't know if it was Jamie Dimon, I don't know if it was JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, someone was saying, our ESG, we see no reason to continue to investing in ESG because it doesn't outperform the broader market.
I did see that. Yeah, I shared that. It was actually the CEO of Vanguard, basically saying we're pulling out of our ESG-based investments. It's not proving profitable, than just basically diversified investments. And obviously a lot of, it was actually, I saw it was a Nancy Pelosi tweet that shared it. And she was obviously not loving that analysis, but
yeah, so that makes me think that's like them signaling to the reptoids, like, hey guys, I think the con's over. But they might try to keep the con going for an extra, 2 years as they exit all their liquidity from those positions.
Yeah,
so
I see it as like, hey, we're more powerful than you guys now. We don't have to play your stupid game, and we're done playing it.
All right. Thank you, Murphy. I was like, geez, that was so vicious. Now I won't cry myself to sleep. Thank you. All right. Bitcoin millionaires increased 140% as the price crossed 20K. The old 2017 all-time high is still a key level when it comes to long-term investment, data shows. Many millionaires were made after it crossed that. In late 22, for example, when it fell below 20K, the millionaire wallet numbers plummeted like a stone overnight. That would suggest a lot of people have wallets with 50 of them in there, I guess. On the 13th, at Bitcoin just under 20, there were 27,000 wallets worth $1 million or more. On the 14th, it increased to 65,000 just when it traded $1,000 higher. So many wallets, it appears, hey, just like I said, contain exactly 50 Bitcoin. Any reasoning for that, rhyme or reason? You think it's just kind of like the same metric? Probably there's a lot of wallets with 100.
Yeah,
Bitcoin,
no,
right?
I don't really think so. I mean, this thing, it's a little deceiving with wallets. Like if wallets with 50 don't necessarily represent people with 50.
No.
Also, many people would if you do have a bunch, you probably don't have it all in one wallet. So there might be more people that are crypto millionaires than this metric would show. There might be less people that are Bitcoin millionaires that this metric would show. So it can be a little deceiving because the way people store Bitcoin in multiple different wallets. But that being said, when I read it, I think, obviously I've got a bias. It's partially due to the circle I'm in, but most of the young self-made millionaires I know in the last several years have done it through crypto. I know plenty of people that have gone from, living paycheck to paycheck to being a millionaire or multimillionaire through crypto. And I think that trend is going to continue over time. They love to talk about how bad things are in a bear market. They'll be back to covering, Dogecoin millionaires and all these other millionaires when the bull market happens, but give it another 2 years, get us into 2025, the end of 2025, I think we'll see a lot more crypto millionaires minted over time.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. A lot of people got I didn't know the power opinion was such a hot take. I didn't mean to upset too many people. I forget his name. He's the guy, he was Spawn, Michael something or other. Just not too convincing for me. Maybe it's his height. Maybe I'm being heightist here, I don't know. So, all right, WBTC supply declined 15%. This is wrapped Bitcoin, declined 15% in February. Bankrupt crypto lender Celsius burnt 22,000 wrapped Bitcoin worth about $500 million in 2 days via Falcon X. No, we're not talking about the rocket ship there. The supply shrunk on Ethereum by 23K in February, the lowest level since March of 21, according to Dune Analytics firm. Wrapped Bitcoin is an Ethereum-based token that mirrors the Bitcoin's price performance and is pegged one-to-one with the digital asset. Wrapped Bitcoin gained popularity in the 22 bull run when its supply peaked at 285,000 Bitcoin. At the time, Bitcoin is trading close to 50K. Wrapped Bitcoin allows you to do, smart contract functionality with it. So they bridge it, and then there's protocols who will, they have a reserve. So you give them, I guess, 23,000, whatever Bitcoin's at worth of Ethereum, and then they'll lock that Ethereum up in theory, and then give you one wrapped Bitcoin. And then as soon as you're ready to trade it in, they have that locked Bitcoin and they just spring it on you. Apparently, all reserves would be backed one-to-one or even slightly higher than one-to-one. But just be careful with those. A lot of things, when they get wrapped, there are bridge exploits. So make sure you're using the right one. I'm pretty sure there's more than one There's more than one way to skin a dog or skin a cat, as they say. 99% of people have not lost everything. Only the few who bought at the very top. So all at the bottom. No, 90%. But if sometimes during the bottom of a bear market, it certainly feels like 99% if you just open up any social media app. Majority in the green at these levels. How are we at these levels? Are people liking the DCAing in these strategies? Now, when it comes to this wrap Bitcoin, TJ, it seems to be a trend that's going to be happening more and more. As we get more L1s, there's going to be more wrap Bitcoins on different chains. Do you think that we might have a situation similar to Solana, where those two brothers, remember those two brothers?
Yeah.
Kind of just created. Could you see something similar? Like you have a wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum and then you bridge it to this one thing and they wrap it on Arbitrum, but maybe they don't reduce the Ethereum supply from wrapped Bitcoin, but they're increasing the near, increasing optimism, increasing Arbitrum. And then next thing you know, there's more than 21 million Bitcoin.
No, not really. I mean, generally speaking, these are going to be wrapped in smart contracts where it's going to be a lot harder to fake. I mean, I do think there's going to be, you could maybe fake some volume with some of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And when we get really where you're going to see that more, that scenario comes in when you're talking about futures, trading futures on Bitcoin and perpetuals and that sort of stuff. So, you know, where you could call that basically creating paper Bitcoins, because you're not actually buying or selling Bitcoin. You're buying or selling a contract, you know, that's based on the Bitcoin price going up or down. So you can get exposure to Bitcoin without ever actually having to hold it. That's why we see when futures markets launch, generally, like we saw it for Bitcoin, we've seen it for Ethereum, that tends to hold the price into a tighter range because it's easier for people to get exposure without actually holding it. That's why a spot ETF is so important, because once that goes through and they actually are buying real Bitcoin and custodying real Bitcoin, the price is going to go crazy. So that's why there's really no logical reason for the U.S. to have stonewalled the spot Bitcoin ETF for this long. It's going to happen at some point, but I don't think it will happen until the regulation gets created in a way that they feel comfortable with.
And good point about, kind of stalling the price. It just makes me think of paper, silver, and paper gold.
Yep.
It's just the exact same thing. Johnny Boy 44. Yes, I am. Bitcoin jumps 4% as upbeat China manufacturing data improves risk appetite. So hard to trust data coming out of China, though. The currency's Wednesday bounce is consistent with the recent trend of Asian flows, leading the market strength. Traded higher as an upbeat manufacturing data alleviated global growth concerns and improved risk appetite in global financial markets. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index rose 4%, leading the risk-on recovery in Asian equity indices. Major European indices and futures tied to Wall Street's tech-heavy index, NASDAQ, also posted modest gains. Bitcoin is positively correlated to NASDAQ and stock markets and risk assets in general. So we see risk assets in China rising. Generally, that's going to be a good thing for Bitcoin in a vacuum. But, just be careful with a lot of that data. Could be, I don't know if it's a dead cat. I saw the thread 2 days ago, the whole real estate economy is going to collapse, like yet another one of those threads. But it's just, it's so hard to just, do your own research with that, just because it's a country of 1.3 billion people. They have a very strong control of media, and it's just hard to know what's true, what's coming out of that. Any Chinese story, I just immediately think like, okay, what, intelligence agency, has a hand in this, and what's the angle, and what are they trying to push, and what's the actual truth? And so it's just, that's kind of my template when I look at any of those stories.
Yeah. All right. I would say on that note, just make sure you're looking at as much hard data as you possibly can. We've covered some of this on Blockchain Basement recently. Obviously, People's Bank of China and Bank of Japan, I think that's, the two other large central banks, the third and fourth largest central banks in the world. Right before we saw a lot of these other projects pump, we saw a massive print from both of those things, increasing, basically printing more funds there. So then it did trickle into the economy in a lot of different ways, whether it's the stock market, whether it's Eastern-based crypto projects, and now we're seeing it kick up in the manufacturing. So I think this is a result of money printing, which again, the Western nations will only allow them to print so much before we respond. So this could be the beginning of what could be the catalyst for this mid-year, kind of move up to 30K that Frankie and a lot of other TA people have been watching for this year.
I only like wrapping things in bacon. Okay, very, very acceptable. Let me know, what do you like to wrap things in? Would the Earth move off its axis if everyone jumped at once? No, not even close. All you got to do is just think of your relative mass compared to just the ground beneath you. And so it's very, very small percentage, though. No, it's like blowing dust. You know, it wouldn't do anything. All right, China has the lowest foreign reserves to gold share ratio as Portugal and U.S. dominate. Foreign reserves to gold ratio. Okay, so that means, hey, we don't want your stinking dollars. We don't want your stinking lira. We just want gold. So China is leading the way. You know, it makes turning me into a gold bug here. Has remained a vital element in the financial reserves of nations, and its allure shows no sign of waning. This is illustrated by the fact that a considerable proportion of gold is held by a subset of central banks relative to foreign reserves. Finbold is the one. Portugal accounts for the highest gold share ratio to foreign reserves ratio, 70%, followed by the U.S. at 67%, and Germany's coming in at 66, Uzbekistan 64, Italy coming in at 63. China occupies the 20th position. Big difference here, a ratio of 3.5%. So here you can see just gold preserves percentage share of total. I'm surprised U.S. is even that high because you would think, you know, being the global reserve currency, we wouldn't have that many other currencies, and everybody except America would have a higher amount just because of the U.S. dollar. But this data is saying otherwise here. What do you think? Have you looked into what we actually hold? Is it yuan? Is it Japanese yen? I mean, is it German? Is it euros?
Are you talking about
what is our foreign what's our balance sheet of foreign assets or foreign
I don't know off the top of my head, but I think this is saying we do hold a lot of gold, right? Like we're the second largest. So I mean, there's that classic phrase, he who holds the gold makes the rules. And so it really, if you think about, people talk about Bitcoin a lot as digital gold, and then everything else whoever has the most gold, and then all this paper money they print is really just derivatives off the gold or paper based things off of the real thing that has value, which is gold. And it has been that since, really, I mean, almost the beginning of time, as long as gold's been around and mined and put into coins. I don't know if it started, I think it started with the Romans, but maybe the Greeks before the Romans. But, I'm not surprised that we have the most gold. And
I'm surprised we're number 2. Like, I would expect us to be far and above Portugal.
You would think. And that's, but I'm also surprised China's so low, considering how much people tout them as another superpower. They've been printing a lot more, and theirs is a lot more like I think you were the one who calls it a house of cards all the time, and in my opinion it really is compared to real hard assets. I do know at one point I was looking at a lot of our balance sheet, or at least the Fed's balance sheet, is based on debt. Like we hold. That's why I crack up when they're talking about forgiving student debt. That's the number one asset on their balance sheet, far and away, is student debt. Money that's owed to them by their basically young population. So I don't know. I probably worth looking back into again, though.
Yeah, gold has only done a 2x in 40 years, so no, thank you. I mean, is it due for a bounce? I don't know. I don't actually hold too much gold. I have like one bracelet, shout out to Crypto Face, hooking that up. But I own some silver bullion. I own some like little ounce coins, and maybe I'll buy a couple next time I see a pawn shop. Maybe I'll pull in and see what kind of tax they're trying to put on it. If it's like $1 or $2 above spot price, I'll probably just yellow in. All right, Elon Musk signals interest in creating a based answer to ChatGPT. He's been one of the loudest critics over how woke it is. Just months after acquiring Twitter, Tesla and SpaceX CEO Musk is now distracted by the newest shiny object, AI chatbots. He's looking into creating an AI research lab in order to develop his own version of ChatGPT. He's already reached out to AI researchers for this project. He did reach out to Igor Babushkin, a former researcher at Google's DeepMind. While there are not many details yet about the potential AI project, he's been quite vocal with his criticisms of ChatGPT. He did co-found OpenAI in 2015, but has since completely cut ties with the company. He left the board all the way back in 2018. When he founded it, it was a nonprofit. Now it is a for-profit that sold 51% to Microsoft. To serve as a counterweight to Google, but now has become a closed source, maximum profit company effectively controlled by Microsoft. Not what I intended at all. So clearly, he has some mixed feelings about it. It was co-founded with Elon by Sam Altman. Here's the guy right here. Interesting to me, how many of the GPT takes are either this is AGI, artificial general intelligence, obviously not close, LOL, or this approach really can't go that much further. trust the exponential, flat looking backwards, vertical looking forwards there. So exponential, if you just think of an exponential chart, it's going to be flat, and then it's going to be boom up into the races there. So he's saying, you know, it's probably going to look more like that. It's not going to remain flat. I'm keeping an eye on it. I think it is going to be, you know, we were talking about this on Around the Blockchain last night. Make sure you check that out. Check out that episode. I don't know if it's going to be as common as email, but I could see it reaching Zoom levels where maybe 50% of white collar workers around that ratio are going to be using it on a regular basis. I don't know if it's going to be 100% of people, just because it's might be a little weird and confusing to people. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm torn. I mean, the Microsoft acquisition of it is pretty major. Like, if you think about it, it just gets built into Word, it gets built into Outlook, it gets built into a lot of different things. It could definitely get adoption really, really fast. The question is how long until people really start to trust it is a whole nother thing. But I don't. It's not going away anytime soon. I think it could hit the scale of email in 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. And I can see it, like, technically, if it's used in the Google search function, yeah, sure, everyone's using it every day. But, you know, when I'm thinking more of like the large language model prompts where, you know, you kind of have a discussion. I don't know how many people are using that. No. Hey, DZ, I got to know, did you end up getting to Goomble's? It was kind of tight. Yeah, I did. They ended up going to the old school Cardano style. So shout out to Farmer Nash. He's been around on Around the Blockchain, friend of the channel. All right. What were you about to say?
Nothing. Yeah.
All right. Twitter adjacent Blue Sky app hits the Apple Store. This is a decentralized social media app and is now one step closer to a public launch. Has gone live on the Apple Store as of today. Now, Blue Sky has no crypto-related features and does not store data on a blockchain. However, it uses the AT protocol, a federated network that relies on cryptography to store data in a decentralized way. This approach makes it similar to blockchain technology, allowing self-ownership of your data. Various other decentralized social networks have also gone live in recent months. Nostr, is that Nostr or Nostr?
Nostr is how I say it.
All right, I wasn't sure if it was like nostril. All right, Nostr launched Damus on February 1st, while Emergo launches Cardano-focused network Spot on the 16th. Lens Protocol with links to Aave went live in mid-22. Go to the Lens Protocol, you might get an airdrop. I did a thing if you have an ENS domain name. So another airdrop info. There's a little stream of airdrop infos here. So anybody with the ENS domain name, go check that out. I claim my lens. It's like dz.lens or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's something. Maybe it's like $50 in free money. Maybe it's $500 in free money. Maybe you just wasted 50 seconds. It won't hurt you too much, though. So check that out. One more AI thing here. The AI altcoin based on Cardano rallies after Elon Musk ChatGPT rumors swirling around. And they have spiked following his plans to work for a new version of ChatGPT. The next day, a report from the information said he had approached researchers and pitched the idea of a new research lab that would explore the creation of a new version. And then we're talking, of course, about AGIX. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. Up nearly 40% in less than 2 days as the rumors are swirling. Do you have any lower cap AI coins that maybe you're looking, you know, when Bitcoin pumps, the next things pump? Are you looking at any of the next things?
Not me particularly. I think this is, you know, very hype driven, which again, nothing wrong with that, but there's way too many other, you know, I'm very focused right now on Ethereum layer 2s and ZKs. And there's so many in that category to mess with. So it's just not a niche I've dug into personally, nothing against it. It's just, I don't know. It gives me kind of vibes of where everybody was a metaverse project back at a certain time. And, you know, like I saw a really funny meme of, I don't know if you guys, The Office, where Michael Scott and Dwight come in and start doing parkour. And we're like, parkour. And it's like, these are crypto companies trying to rebrand to AI right now. And, it, you know, I kind of feel the same way. There's not a lot of substance to it.
Yeah.
It's a hype. It's a trend to ride. It's just not one that has my focus right now.
It's planking, basically. You're saying it's planking. All right. If I don't want to share it on the stream, it's extremely low cap. It's like 5 million or less. I tweeted out an AI coin that I'm in that we're talking to with Vumio. I tweeted to Sam Price. So if you go to my Twitter, click replies, go down till 9 this morning, 8 this morning, you'll see one that I'm in. I'm not saying it's going to go up. It's just very low market cap. So when there are spikes, a lot of times you'll see it trickle down into the lower caps, and you know, maybe I can get a 50% gain. I don't know. All right, last Cardano story here. If you like Cardano, hit that like button. Cardano's fundamental metric at all-time high. Here's how it can affect ADA. reaches a new high with 4.7 million total addresses. This is a significant milestone for the blockchain network and indicates growing popularity amongst investors and users. Here is the price chart. We don't want to zoom back because it was, all right, this is 75 cents. It was like $1.50, $2. Like if that was a real non-algorithmic chart, the price is all the way up here. Now, you ready to see how far we're going to scroll? And then, now we're down at these levels. Despite its recent struggles, it has been in an uptrend in the midterm perspective. However, over the past 2 weeks, it has experienced some issues on the market, losing 16% of its value. Despite its total addresses is a promising sign for the long-term prospects. As it continues to expand, it is expected that Cardano will continue to develop new use cases and applications. Their focus on scalability and interoperability has already made it an attractive option for developers looking to build dApps. And it's also pissed off some developers because they're like, why did Charles choose this coding language? This is for like a file sharing service. But, the builders are in there and they're making the new smart contracts and they keep getting it up and up. And the ecosystem keeps growing. I'm a believer. I think TJ's a believer. We do like it in the office. So, hey, we like Charles. I've never formally met him, but he seems like a cool guy. Have you ever formally met him, like shook his hand or anything?
Yeah. I took a picture with him. I could in like 2019 at a conference in Miami. It was a tiny conference. There might have been a couple hundred people there. He was just out there walking around looking at booths, just like I was. And I was like, that's Charles Hoskinson. And I was like, hey, I talked to him for a little bit, chatted. He's super nice.
Yeah, I saw him, was it April 21? And then I saw him at the recent Cardano events. And I just never approached him. I gave him could we zoom in a little bit tighter? This is what I gave him, the typical white guy. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. That's all.
It's like the elevator greeting.
The elevator.
The eyebrow raise.
All right. Let's talk a little Metamask. Gaming engine Unity taps Metamask, Immutable X, and Solana for Web3 developer tools. This is the leading platform for game developers. Introduced an online storefront for decentralized tools, adding support for these major Web3 players. They now have a decentralization category on its online storefront, the company said in a press release. Here, you had a Metamask. It was a nice full court press on when it comes to the advertising this and the marketing of this. As part of the toolkit, Unity is adding support for 13 different blockchain-based software kits from Algorand, Aptos, Dapper Labs Flow, IMX, MetaMask, Solana, and Tezos. And so Unity trying to set themselves up to be, the premier game engine. I guess they're tired of Unreal 3 being seen everywhere. And it seems like they're, we say this a lot. Me and TJ have said this. The number one person in a space is a little bit handcuffed. It's the number two and the number three that's going to move fast and break things. And I'm pretty sure, Tencent, we're talking about Tencent. They own a part of this. Was it Epic Games? The Unreal Engine is unreal when you look at the scope and how it's everywhere. I think it's even Grand Theft Auto. It's Fortnite. It's everything that's big. And then you got Unity, the number two guy, and they're the David to the Goliath. And so they're going to be the ones pushing the forefront here. So I'm a big supporter of what they're doing, and it'll be interesting to see if we actually get some decent games. Maybe. I know KG. He's hoping for it. Crypto Stash, they're hoping for it. I'm hoping for it too, guys. I hope y'all get something where you don't cringe every time you have to hit play. All right, former Metamask lead Lee releases Hyperplay Web3 game launcher. So yet another thing, the gaming gateway eschews the Apple's fee model in favor of monetizing convenience features. It is now live via early access and available for all major platforms, but optimized for MetaMask users. And code developed by DAO Game 7 and Jacob C.eth, former MetaMask operations lead. Instead of taking a gut of game sales or transactions, they're hoping they'll generate revenue through offering convenience features within the apps, similar to how MetaMask generates revenue. So that might be kind of cool. You go to a video game and you're like, I could go on the marketplace. I'm looking for the cheapest amulet of trust. And, maybe just similar to MetaMask, how you could do a swap through MetaMask. Maybe they'll do it, steal 10 cents off you. And hey, that'd be pretty cool. Hey, DZ, staked it. How do I submit my email or info to get the upcoming newsletter? Check out their YouTube. Pluto Alliance has their own YouTube. So check that out. Or, if you don't have Twitter, I would say use Twitter, use YouTube, but Twitter also going to be a great place for that. And you can always DM Taco with your Pluto questions, and he's pretty good about answering them. All right, NFT games aren't just about minting Worldwide Web founder with an extra B there. The founder thinks that soon could change here. After profile pictures, creators forayed into the world of gaming with limited success into breaking into gamer culture. He's speaking at this year's NFT Paris, which is a few days ago. The real challenge for us is going to be showing gamers that NFT games aren't just about minting and staking and yield farming. Actually, they're about competing, collaborating, and taking on challenges and earnings from that. I think Dookie Dash proved that very well with Mongrel making more in 2 weeks than he did in the entire 4 years he's been a pro Fortnite streamer. I think he's been pretty big on the scene over the last 3 years. I remember watching him popping up on all the big Fortnite things, him and Click. So, yeah, I think that's going to be one of the best advertisements we've ever seen for Web3 gaming is everybody's going to look at Mongrel. Some people are going to get lost in the noise. You had to pay $10,000 to play a video game for 2 weeks, not realizing, it was essentially free and the market dictated they're worth $10,000. They're going to see, oh, this guy played an NFT game and made more than he made in 4 years playing Fortnite. Oh, he must not have made much money playing Fortnite. No, he was one of the top Fortnite streamers, one of the top earners, and he still smoked that in just 2 weeks. I think that's very bullish. I don't know if it's going to equate to the kid at home who steals his mom's credit card for V-Bucks. I don't think they're going to steal it and try to buy a Bored Ape. I don't think the credit card will submit that transaction. But I think it is going to be bullish for people in their early 20s, mid 20s, and they say, maybe I shouldn't just dismiss it because Reddit said it's a scam. Maybe I'll do my own research. And I think that's going to be a huge catalyst for people doing their own research when they see how much money he won. What do you think about all the FUD about you had to pay money to play this game? I mean, are we ever? There's always going to be those naysayers, right?
Yeah, I would say we're still early, right? I mean, just like Bitcoin, there's plenty of FUD. There's still FUD around it, even after people have changed their lives with it. Kind of to your point, it's the use case is being established. The examples are going to continually be created. Just give it time.
Yeah. All right, let's do a little Voyager story. Then we have XRP. I know you guys have been patiently waiting for that XRP story, but I've been patiently waiting for us to hit 1,000 likes. Did we hit 1,000 likes?
We're at 1,200 right now.
1,200, that's what I'm talking about. Let's get up to ETH's price. Let's see if we can pump ETH's price by passing 1640 or whatever. For DZ's Chainlink weekly DCA, I'm going to buy 0.33. Don't you worry. All right, 97% of Voyager's customers vote in favor of Binance.US restructuring plan. Nearly all customers of the bankrupt broker have voted in favor of the company's plan to sell its assets to Binance.US, the American affiliate, some say, of the crypto giant. There's more than 59,000 users agreed with the plan here, too. So a lot of people coming out to vote. Recall that Binance US entered into the billion-dollar deal with Voyager after FTX, the initial winner of the asset auction, went bankrupt. So if you remember, Sam Bankman said, I got it, and then they went bankrupt. So Binance US looks like, people are moving forward with this. It's going to be, apparently, is something that everyone is pretty happy about here. All right. Meanwhile, several entities have filed objections to the restructuring plan, namely the SEC, FTC, and Texas State Securities Board have all opposed the motion. So the people want it. Binance US wants it, but SEC doesn't want it. Gary Gensler doesn't want it. Goldman Sachs cronies do not want it. That should tell you everything you need to know about whether or not it should go through. All right, Ripple consensus. Are we ready? No consensus that everything other than Bitcoin is a security. Of course, we're talking about the recent remarks that everything except Bitcoin's a security here. John Deaton has chastised Michael Saylor, chairman of MicroStrategy, for his stance on Bitcoin maxis. The digital currency ecosystem was disturbed since news of the SEC's onslaught on key industry firms began making the rounds in February of 23. Here he is quote tweeting him, Michael Saylor, consensus is building that everything in the crypto industry other than Bitcoin is a security. I was thinking coin census. No, actual consensus here. And Bitcoin is a security destined to be regulated by the SEC. That makes Bitcoin the only asset suitable for use as global money. John Deaton, not true. Outside of Gensler and Maxis, there is no consensus. So he's saying, listen, bro, you're in a bubble. All right, Bitcoin isn't granted on freaking Mars or Manhattan or, I don't know, freaking 1903 San Francisco. I don't know, whatever crazy metaphor he comes out with. Look, just because you say a thing and a Bitcoin maxi agrees with you doesn't mean the other 8 billion people are going to agree with it.
I agree. I mean, it's basically, that's a categorically false statement. I mean, obviously, Gary Gensler has come out and said everything's a security, which he's clearly incentivized to do so. Tons of Bitcoin maxis have cheered that, which again, just is pretty disturbing in my opinion, that the maxis are siding so hard with the regulators. But for him to come out and say, oh yeah, the crypto industry has come to a consensus that everything outside of Bitcoin is a security, that's just not true. It's not even close to true. So
categorically false. Just like the FUD for Chainlink. How do you think it will perform in the next bull run? Is it a sleeping giant? Certainly was last time. People still like it. I think it's still one of those coins that not many coins people have a 10-year outlook on. Bitcoin, sure. Ethereum, sure. Cardano, sure. A handful of others. I think Chainlink could find its way into some of the long-term holders where people aren't going to try to sell the top or try to catch a wave or, you know, try to dump the bags. But do some research into the Chainlink Foundation and what their token unlocks are when they dump on people. I'm still a big believer because it's one of the best protocols in crypto when it comes to generating revenue. And so I'm long-term bullish just because it can actually exist in a vacuum. All right, Ripple is in dialogue with over 20 central banks on CBDC's exec reveals. Isn't this huge, actually? 20 central banks? I mean, it might depend, you know, what are we talking about? This is like a Polynesian island here. The senior vice president of customer success and managing director of APAC and MENA at Ripple talked about their efforts and goals in the CBDC space, revealing some interesting details. They're in dialogue with more than 20 central banks. While some countries are well advanced, the digital yuan in China and others, there are many emerging markets that are smaller, have fewer resources, that have other issues where Ripple can help an important part. In this context, they revealed that they're already in dialogue with more than 20 central banks. They've already cited well-known projects with Bhutan and Palau as examples. The headwinds in the U.S. revealed this is why they're focusing on the international market, where they've hired most of their 300 new employees of the last year here. So we're going to see a lot of that. You know, obviously, American hegemony over the global financial system, you know, by having the reserve asset, you're going to see the players, just like we said earlier, the number 2 guy. Well, now we're talking about countries, so we're talking about like the number 180 guy, the number 190 guy, the 230 guy. These people are really going to be able to move fast, break things, make some swift changes, and then they're going to be the ones pushing the forefront of our digital economy. It sucks to hear, and it sucks to say as an American citizen, but that's just the future. Yes, I'm still DCAing weekly. No, my mustache is not a security. TJ, do we have any quick hits here?
The quick hits or the stories there?
Quick hits. I'm at the Q&A. The punks exceed. Blur overtakes. We already know about that. Auction Fidenza. Coin spikes 10%. All right, let's look at that real quick. Just because, you know, we were talking about, you know, what coins. Hey, the shares have soared over $66 after disclosed Crypto 435 initiative here. So a lot of people are pretty excited about that. Also, you know, we're believers in all Armstrongs here. We like the Armstrongs. We like a Ben's uncle here. So what about those ear hairs? Hey man, sometimes you got to pluck it. You get the little bing. It feels loud, feels good. All right, what do we have? Do you have anything to add, Morel?
He says
he
no.
does not. Do you have any message for TikTok?
No.
All right, well, that's all we got. My message for you, though, DCA is the way. Mandalorian drops today, and make sure you hit that like button, and don't you play.